Kawasaki, for the record.
Daytona International Speedway, the mecca of motorcycle enthusiasts in America. But today, the controlled frenzy of Speed Week in Daytona is spent. The crowds have disappeared. Only a small group of men and women remain. They are here by special invitation to take a ride for the record. They've gathered from all over the country. Sports writers, magazine editors, professional motorcycle racers, for one of the most demanding tests of men and machines ever devised.
We'll be able to set a world 24-hour FIM record, and that's what we're all here for.
You have an engine failure or a failure...
The organizers and officials give final instructions to the riders.
So they can work on it, but we can't move it from where it's dead.
If you're changing riders, I would prefer to fill the gas tank before we change riders. Let's use the stopboard as your signal also. Don't leave until the stopboard goes down. Somebody may be checking your chain or lubing it or adjusting it or checking tire pressure or who knows what. So don't leave until the stopboard. Right. The gas stop is not going to be the critical thing. It's the overall check of the motorcycle, especially after the first few hours, to make sure that we just don't run off and forget something.
The riders take their last practice laps, and a spirit of team camaraderie begins to develop.
At the end of the straighter, right at 10.
It was neat.
You like that?
Yeah.
Going around this bank turn here, I found if you go about 3/4 in the second lane and then pull it right down to the pole, you come out smooth. You know where that funny transition is where we get on the back, stay low on that?
Yeah.
Same deal over here.
The final practice lap comes in, and the ready signal is given.
Okay?
Mark, yeah.
The sophisticated electronic timing system is set to go at the starting line, and the bikes are brought to the wire. Officials of the American Motorcycle Association and the Fédération Internationale Motocycliste give the bikes the final inspection to ensure compliance with the 24-hour speed and endurance rules. Satisfied, an official gives the signal to start. 4:06 p.m. Tuesday, the ride for the record begins. Two teams of riders with one bike per team will each attempt a new record. 30 seconds after the orange team starts, the blue team gets its signal to proceed. To set a new speed and endurance record, these bikes must average speeds of over 110 miles per hour for the next 24 hours. AMA and FIM rules state that the bikes must be factory production models with only minor changes allowed. In this record attempt, Kawasaki 650s are going after the record held by the larger 750cc displacement motorcycles. An attempt very much like David going into battle against Goliath. The first lap time is precisely as planned.
74.
74.
Everything is going well, and the riders settle in for the long run. The official timer calls out the average speed for the first lap, over 115 miles per hour.
The blue.
Record pace, but can they maintain it for 24 hours? The question seems to be answered immediately when the orange team bike stops on the track.
What happened? We ran out of gas. That's what happened. Getting too much rim resistance out there. I'm gonna have to go. I'm going almost wide open. Well, in fact, I'm going wide open the whole time. That's what happened for sure. Shirt's too loose, catching too much wind. Because I know everybody else isn't going wide open, and this one is.
Get the lights on. You don't need the light.
The pit crew rushes to his side and gives the rider instructions on how to eke the last drop of gasoline out of the reserve tank. No one but the rider can touch the bike, or it will be disqualified. He manages to get it going and heads back to the pit for a full tank. Meanwhile, the blue team bike continues to circle the 2.5-mile track in record time. But it's called in for early refueling just in case. They can't afford to lose any more time by running out of gas. Each rider averages just under an hour per riding shift. Not much time on a Sunday cruise, but at these speeds, 1 hour feels like many.
No rider change?
No.
Want to change?
Get going.
Go with it.
As lap after lap unrolls with consistently good timings, it appears the KZ650 is fast enough to take the record. But the question remains, can the bike endure the full 24 hours? And can the riders fight off exhaustion through the coming night and the long day beyond it? As night falls, one rider describes the emotions of riding a motorcycle at maximum speed.
This is a giggle for me. A lot of people compare it to sex, but I never would. When you're down on the tank like that with your chin right on the tank, you can't look farther ahead than maybe, I guess 50 yards, which isn't a lot at 120 miles an hour. It's an insular sort of feeling to be out there. I loved it, being out there all by myself. I felt like I was the only person in the world. Just me out there, sort of like a satellite on the way to the moon. It's a spacey sort of feeling.
Get the rider off first. You get the old wheel off. Get the rider. Okay, off.
3 a.m. Wednesday, a tire change, and suddenly the pressure is shifted from rider to pit crew as precious seconds slip by. Each man knows his task and performs it with precision. They know the change must be fast, but they also know the rider's life depends on the accuracy of their task.
Give me that. Oops. Brake adjusted?
In an effort to remount the rear brake perfectly, the pit crew loses time, and the rider tears into the night in a desperate attempt to regain the lost minutes. Throughout the long night, the riders fought their way through the blinding fog and moisture that coated every surface with a slick, treacherous film. But as morning lightens the sky, they find themselves still on record pace.
Time is 6:03:30:342 on the...
Diane Cox, the only woman member of the team.
Now, was that a piece of cake?
Yeah, it was, but I'm tired.
The strain of absolute concentration and physical effort required to ride a motorcycle at racing speeds begins to take its toll on the rider's energy.
This one will be running by itself. This is the one that's got it.
At 10:30, a new bike is wheeled to the track. A 650 production model, like the others, but specially adapted for shorter distances at much higher speeds. The riders on this team are strictly professional because the decisions made going this fast are irreversible. This quick bike, nicknamed the Rabbit by crew members, will share the track with the orange and blue teams as they continue their run for the record. The Rabbit is only on the track for 6 hours, but in this short time, it shatters existing records for several short distance categories. Two o'clock. and surface temperatures on the track have risen steadily, increasing the odds of a tire blowout and taxing bike and rider to their limits. But these are the last hours of the run for the world record. And each rider finds within himself a reason to carry on.
I'm basically here for two reasons. One, the endurance factor that's involved in running 24 hours. That's really the ultimate challenge. Road racing, shorter distances, proves much more machine than man. Although it's fairly heavy on the machine here, the rider and rider consistency is very important. Combined with the fact that we are hitting numerous speed records, both international and American speed records.
Diane Cox returns her team's motorcycle to the pit after successfully finishing her last riding shift on this run for the 24-hour record.
Perfect. Top off, Diane. You can jump off, love. Top off. That's it. Good girl. You. Good ride, Diane.
Diane's probably one of the best women racers I've seen in the dirt, on the pavement, anywhere around. She's run, I would say, as consistent or more consistent than men. She has a slight disadvantage that she's so short she can hardly, she's really stretched out on the bike. I'm sure it's a lot more strain for her. She's a lot more tired at the end of the run.
As the final seconds take off, the two bikes come together for the last lap. Together, they've covered 5,607.092 miles, averaging over 117 miles per hour. At 4:06 p.m. Wednesday, a new world and American record for speed and endurance has been set. The results are forwarded to AMA and FIM headquarters and newsmen around the world. For the record.